blown up. And then how do you dig yourself out of that hole or start over? That's not an easy or fun process to do.
Yeah, and you brought up something that's really important there. Like the environment that you're trading in is going to have a huge, that's really going to dictate your performance. Like even if you're targeting the same type of trade
True.
in this market where that's being rewarded, it's going to do well. In a choppier market or whatever, a more negative market, it's not going to do well. So
Right.
for you, what are some of the things that you keep track of that say, like an A plus setup,
Mhm.
the market is an A plus setup right now. Like this is a
Right.
time where I want to step more on the gas versus,
Right.
all right, the market's deteriorating a little bit. I'm going to be more selective, more
Sure.
defensive here, not going to go as big. So yeah, how do you determine the market health for
And
you?
for one thing, I still wanted to follow up on that last question about the losses, and real quick, and then I'll
Yeah.
get to this one. Is that I wanted to mention, I forgot, but when you lose money, it sucks, right? We're in a drawdown financially; it is a tough time. But the financial side is okay. You lost 5 or 10% of your account, but I think sometimes what people don't realize is how tough the mental side is, and how easy that is to snowball. And I've just
Yes.
seen so many people that get down 10% and then just freak out and they panic, and now the next day they said, I got to make that back so I can get back on track, and they overtrade and they do things that they weren't supposed to do. So I think, that's one of the problems with losses and drawdowns. And that's why it's so important to walk away or step back or size down, because the emotional and mental side is almost worse than the financial side, because until you can clear your mind and get your mind back to where it needs to be, I don't know that you're going to reset yourself. So anyway, sorry about that. But to get back to your new
You're
question
good.
about, the A plus setups in the market, I think a lot of it depends on your performance. How are you trading? How do your P&L numbers look? So if you're making, through my experience, if I've ever making money, if I'm making money day after day after day, and there's a lot of setups out there, I continue to push it. That's the
Right.
biggest thing. I mean, that's the easiest way to, score ourselves as traders, is with our profit and loss. Now, yes, there are times where, some bad trading techniques are rewarded, and that's obviously not beneficial to us. It's beneficial on the financial side, but not on the mental side. But overall, I think the easiest way is your scorecard. What are you making, or what are you losing? And I think that's the easiest way to determine if we're in a good hot market for your trading style, or if we're not.
Yeah, excellent. Phil, I know you wanted to bring up some case studies, and I'd love to go to that now. And I think that will kind of bring everything we're talking about together into real life. So
Sure.
feel free to share your screen, and let's walk
Yeah,
through a few of these. And
absolutely.
to start with, before you go through the charts, I'd love to hear, how did these get on your radar in the first place? Because
Yeah.
obviously it has to get across your screen in the first place for
Right.
you to possibly trade it. So how did you find these opportunities? And we'll start with SMCI here.
Yeah. So again, throughout my career as a short seller, I'm looking for just overbought situation, something with just that's extremely overbought to the upside that I think is going to correct. And again, I've adapted from just small caps in my early days to now some mid caps, large caps, or whatever that might be. So anything that's in an extreme overbought situation is something I'm interested in. So we had that situation back